But I still get joy when I hear about what he's done for us. It's so exciting. It's so wonderful. God is so merciful, isn't he? I couldn't wait to get up here to preach. I said, ooh, they just going on and on. I said, I want to get up there. I thought I would levitate. I didn't know. And then the Spirit said, well, that's that coffee you drank before you start. The Lord said, don't blame me this time, Selma. It's that coffee. Pray for me, I tell you. Pray for me. I'm doing my best. All is well. So the name of my message today is called Distraction. Somebody just grabbed their purse. I think I see somebody in the back that clutched their pearls, because we know that there are distractions in the world. You know, we're always reading our email, phone ringing, playing the video games on our phones, people calling, get in the mirror and you see a bump. You say, oh, Lord, I'm supposed to be thinking about Jesus. That happens to me all the time, especially with me trying to work with my hair. I don't know if you all noticed that I get in the mirror and I sometimes I say, well, could I swirl it this way? And I'm supposed to be getting ready for my message, right? But I get distracted. You think that since I'm a pastor, I'm supposed to know these things. So I'm trying to see where the swirl will go. And my sister was so nice. She gave me some of that J-Lo oil you can put on this black. And you smear it in there. If you come to visit, you'll see it all on my side of the bed. It's all smeared there. It's something. I wanted to call my sister and say, can you send more? And then Bonnie did like this, because what are you doing to my fine linen and stuff? And I try to put a towel on there, and the towel becomes looking yucky. But my hair is laid down, but how long will it last? I got tired of the wigs. Got tired of them. I felt a little bit like Rudy Giuliani, you know. I don't know if you remember him. He was in the thick of things, and the dye was just rolling down on his face when he got a little sweaty. And I noticed when I get home, sometimes I got dye and stuff all on me. I went to dinner a couple of weeks ago, and our waitress said that during the pandemic, she got distracted with her hair. Her beautician would come. Those were in the days when you couldn't open the door for anybody. You were scared. So her beautician would come and mix up all the stuff and leave it on the porch and run. And then when the beautician was gone back in the car, she'd reach out and get her, because her hair was red, get her hair dye, put it on real quick. And she finally said she got tired of that because she just couldn't keep up with the hairdresser. And if the stuff stayed on the porch too long, her hair would be, let's just say, the unread. Wow, these things are happening. I don't know. I get distracted myself. I tell you, even during the pandemic, I like to share this even. I was, talking to somebody one day, and they had their mask on. I had my mask on. I said, oh, my God, somebody's breath is kicking. I didn't know breath could come through the mask. By the time I got home, I realized it was my breath. See, these things come to distract me. All I'm trying to do is focus on the Lord. But I get distracted. Do you get distracted sometime? Even my brother one time, and he's a minister, a man of God, all that. He drove 800 miles to see his doctor down here. He lives in Atlanta. He came down here to Detroit because he had a little, you know how you get those little things that come up on your neck? Yeah, and he was tag. It was just a little tag. It might have been magic marker when he was thinking of something. He said, I got to get home and see my doctor. And the doctor said, boy, if you don't go on back to Atlanta. Because we get distracted about the wrong things. Looking in the mirror this morning like a bump was coming on the end of my nose. I said, Satan, I rebuke you. You're trying to distract me. I'm trying to sit at Jesus' feet like Mary did. In Luke 10. Martha was running around, hurrying, doing all kind of stuff, trying to fix up the house, and Jesus was already there. Even me, Jesus is already here. He said, I'm going to number the hair on your head. So he gave me the 6,300 hairs on my head. I lost 2 this morning, so maybe 6,298 hairs. I don't know, but with Mary and Martha, Martha was running around the house. She was trying to get the house cleaned up and everything. Like me, sometimes I did. Remember through the pandemic, I was saying the glory cloud was in the house. And Bonnie finally admitted to me that it was dust. So it gets kind of tough trying to stay focused and not get distracted in the things of God. But the Lord said, draw near to me, I'm coming to you. Return to me, I'll return to you. I said, Lord, well, wait a minute. Which way I'm going to do my hair? I bought so many wigs. It's just like the linen closet in the bathroom is full of wigs. I open up the door, and they fall out, late at night. I'm thinking somebody's in there. Because they're all different colors. Because I read in the Word, that you're supposed to wear hair on your head or a hat on your head in church. You know how you do the plop and the drop in the morning? I do that sometimes. And it plopped open, and it said, your hair should be on your head. Well, you're a woman, you're in the sanctuary. So I got on Amazon, I started ordering wigs. I said, because, Lord, these 3 hairs right here, I don't know if they'll go that far. I'm trying to dip them. You make a little swerve in the front. Then there's a big hole back here. It's the enemy. But anyway, back to Martha in Luke 10. Poor thing, I don't know what she was trying to clean at the house. Well, her house was like ours. She probably had to get in the yard if they had a dog, clean some of that stuff up, because that's going to distract you. Jesus right there in the house. Right there in your house. Jesus right here with us, and we're not paying him any attention. Isn't that something? Worried about what we're going to put on. If I put that jacket on, will it close? You get distracted. Distraction is no joke. It's no joke. And don't let people call you with a problem. Pastor, I'm sick. Oh, Lord, I was trying to study, or whatever, but I got to go. I got to go. Because Jesus told Martha that Mary was doing the most honorable thing. And what was she doing? Sitting at Jesus' feet. But don't you know, when we try to sit at Jesus' feet, the enemy is going to come with any kind of distraction he can. Because he does not want us to focus on the Lord. The Lord's right there inside of you. I told him the other night, the Lord, when I was just meditating, I said, Lord, this was a good idea to put yourself inside of us. I said, you got the hook up. You are cool, God. I like that. Give me a high five. Because he said we can come boldly and talk to him. He knows me. He knows the way that I would take. I can talk to him and say that, yeah, Lord, Lord, you are awesome. Could I just get a little more of that dark stuff that I can put on my hair? You shake it out. Monty got me a couple of containers of it. Then I look at it sometimes, it look like hair growing down my back because it's that artificial hair. I said, Lord, help me. You know me, Lord. You know me. Sometimes I think I get it on my chin. Because I look up and there's a hair that's hanging there. I said, is that a real one or is it Memorex? But when they're white, though, because they stick out. And everybody sees them. They don't tell you anything. You get distracted. You talk in the past and you see that long, white, gray hair hanging there. And you shudder and you think, how could she come out like that? I thought she loved the Lord. Well, I love him, but he said keep hair on your head, so all this counts, I guess. A little extra hair right here, one there. Tweezers don't work. I'm pulled off most skin trying to get it. Let me hurry up and get this off. I'm distracted. But if I only knew the things of God just a little bit better, even like when it said in Isaiah, for unto us a child is born. A child is given, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting God, Prince of Peace. Lord, how can you let these things happen and you got all this going on? What about me? I get distracted. I don't want to be distracted, Lord. I want to sit at your feet. I want to be with you. I want to Lord, I want to, and this, how maybe this happens to you sometime. You're laying on your pillow late at night. Say, Lord, we're going to talk, ain't we? By the time you get wound up, yes, Lord, we're getting ready to have our time together. Next thing you know, it's tomorrow. You done missed the whole thing. See, that's what happens when peace comes. See, he's the Prince of Peace. He's the mighty God. He's the one that said, I will keep you. He said, I'll keep you in perfect peace if your mind is stayed on me, because you can trust in me. Trust in the Lord. The Lord is your everlasting strength. And I'm trying to get into it with him. We're going to talk, Lord. Come on, Prince of Peace. I said, Lord, is that you snoring or me? But he will rest. But he's not given to that. It's the one of us that fall out. It was the disciples that fell asleep, wasn't it? Yes, it was. But I like also in Isaiah 11 where it says that one day, the children are going to be sitting next to the cobras, or a lion will lie down next to the lamb. And we'll see all these wonderful things one day because he's coming. And he indeed did come. But his own received him not. But then, I tell you what, he's coming back. Now, they told me I couldn't stand there today because they don't have the camera right. I'm going to do it anyway. Let's have some good fun. Let me just say this part. It said when Jesus comes back, he's going to have one foot on the east and one foot on the west of the Mount of Olives. And he's going to be so strong in it that the mountain is going to collapse beneath him and open up a valley so big when he comes. And he's going to come and deal with his enemies. But you don't have to worry. See, we will not be judged. He's coming again. Our work is to get people to come to him. See, our work is not for me to stare in the mirror and watch where the hair went. My work, he placed me here. And whosoever, to cause others to come to him. Right? To come to him. And then to do it in such a way that you go and tell your friends to come on. He said, return to me and I'll return to you. I think you heard me over here. Return to me and I'll return to you. See, we can't get caught up in the distractions. See, distractions are when we have something we know we should be doing, but something comes to interfere with it. That's a distraction. The Lord wants you to know and be able to recognize when it's simply a distraction. They might call and say, oh, yeah, mama's sick. Her toenail broke. And you got to get over there to see her. I said, well, Mama, you're going to be all right. Just soak your foot. You're going to be all right. And point her to Jesus. I don't know if you heard me. Because Jesus said in Luke 10 when he was talking to Martha that Mary was doing the thing. Mary was sitting at his feet. When you're sitting at his feet, you're going to get all you need. He is the Prince of Peace. Thank you, Lord. But there are so many things that distract us. So many things. Even the promise of tomorrow will distract you. Well, I'll do it when I retire, I'm going to do it. I'll call you tomorrow. Or maybe in a month after I've made all this money, then I can get back to living. Or maybe this time next year. Those are distractions. Because what you're doing is focusing on this time next year, I'm going to save that money. My sister and I used to have a friend. And she said, as soon as I finish my work, as soon as I retire, I'm going to Paris. Well, she got on the plane to go to Paris. And she died on the plane before she could get there. Because she was distracted. You got to go on and do what you're going to do now. you got to go on and do what you're going to do. If you're going to go into business, do it now. If you're going to write the book, do it now. Don't get caught up in that snare of putting it off to tomorrow, which is a snare. Oh, I don't know if you heard me. See, because we miss the beauty of the present when we keep putting things off till tomorrow. And see, in the presence, there's the fullness of joy. When you're sitting at Jesus' feet, you have his attention. That is the time to just settle in and let the Holy Spirit tell you to go to the right or to the left, to listen. Because see, all those noises are going to keep you focused on something else other than hearing him. Back there in the back with Martha, getting really nothing done because the company's already there. Why are you cleaning up in the company there? Well, that I don't know. And then there's a pursuit of perfection that distracts us from doing the things of God. Because what happens is when we try to do things perfectly, it distracts us from using faith to get things done. See, we don't take the risk when we're waiting to perfect things. Well, I'm going to do it one day. I'm working on this right now. It's not going to work. Where's perfection? In him, sitting at his feet. But we want to get everything, oh, yeah, I got to get it right. But the Bible says if we keep waiting for things to line up and perfection, we'll never get anything done. That desire is a distraction. The desire for perfection. So you catch somebody trying to be perfect, you say, that's a distraction. And Bonnie might start cleaning the house. I'm saying, that's a distraction. I'm going to sit at his feet. See, I got a reason now, don't I? Because I don't want to be distracted. I want to hear what he's got to say because I'm looking for direction. So you all want me to come up here with a word, not with my opinion. You don't want that. We don't. Zanetta said, yeah, I know that's right. No. And so, and then sometimes we get distracted by comparing ourselves to others. Isn't that something? See, each time we do, we focus our energy on the wrong person. Well, you know, why they got it going on and I don't? Well, you should be sitting at his feet, listening to what he wants you to do, instead of comparing yourself to Smitty from the city. But we know where he came from. I used to go to that place when I was, I know Smitty from the city when I was greatly distracted before I really got into the things of the Lord. Somebody said, I knew you then, don't look this way. Because I'm sharing with you because even though you've given your life to Christ, you repented, and you want him, invited him to come into your heart, there are still distractions that are going to come along the way because you got a bullseye on your back. Oh, that's one of Jesus's. We're going to have to go after them. So you just sit yourself down somewhere. Do you know that the desire for wealth is a distraction? Because you're out there trying to get that money. You're out there trying to get that bag. You're chasing riches. See, then you're trying to, and what happens is you have sold yourself to the highest bidder. I don't know if you heard me. When you're trying to get wealth, who you going after? Money makes a terrible master. That's what the word says. It's a distraction. I'm trying to get all the money in my bag I can. Well, I'm not thinking about Jesus. Because the cattle on 10,000 hills belong to him. I'm with him. You're with him. We're already got it going on. That's why when you walk in the room, everybody's, the heads all turn. You know that. Tanya, no. Travel master, no. Denise, no. Walk in the room. Hey, because you're a distraction. That's all right when it's me, right? But chasing wealth is a distraction. And the accumulation of possessions. You know how you just want everything. Oh, I want that. Give me 2. Buy 2, girl. Going to White Castle. Give me 6. So I'm going to be in the restroom all night long. Trying to get some possessions. I want all the White Castle. Don't let it be with jalapeno cheese. But you know, when you're trying to get possessions, that puts stress on you. How you going to eat 6 White Castle hamburgers and make it home? It's a distraction, isn't it? I remember I had a friend years ago. She thought she was such a much. You didn't know her. It's a long time ago. She said, baby, take me to White Castle. I said, we going. I took her to one on across 8 Mile. I said, here's yours. She got some fries, some onion rings. She was really going to tear it up. We couldn't make it home. She said, I know somebody used to live there. Let me run up and knock on the door. See if she lived there. We went to elementary school together. Somebody answered the door, and she went in there. To this day, I don't know if she knew that woman. She came back out. She said, I think she's going to be mad at me. You think? Lord have mercy, because it's not pleasant. There's no amount of incense you can burn to give you a White Castle healing. Not that I'm knocking them. You know what I mean? Because those little sandwiches, they can work out when you don't have much money. Another thing that can get you in that distraction is the appeal of pleasure. I'm just doing this for fun. We've all done that. But we know that pleasure is a terrible teacher. You know, by the time you get to the end of the hall, the door going to be locked. You won't have any teeth left. You know, because you went after pleasure. I'm going to eat all this sugar I want, because it is good. All the Hershey candy bars I can find, but they taste good. Then we see you later, because we can look up and see you then, because it's like a helium balloon. You're hanging up there. There she is. That's her. She got distracted by the Hershey bars. Well, y'all think I'm just being silly, but it doesn't always take something really horrible to distract us from the things of God. It could be the simplest things. No offense, but it could be kids. I love kids. My little niece is right there. She's turned her back on me right now. That's all right. I'm going to say nice things about kids today. But kids can be a distraction too if we don't teach them the way that they should go. But we're teaching our children. We're teaching our children. That's why you see them here. We're teaching our children. So why do distractions come? Lord have mercy. Well, they come to distract you from your identity. Isn't that something? When they asked Jesus, no, when they even asked John the Baptist, who are you? Are you Elijah? You Elijah came back? Trying to figure out who Jesus was. Who are you? They keep asking. Maybe they've asked you, who do you think you are? That's a distraction trying to get you off your square to make you think that you're not the apple of God's eye, that you're not a holy community, a royal priesthood, that you're not the disciple that Jesus loved. He tries to tell you that you're not who you are, what the Word has said who you are. He's come to get your identity. I've had people that, I can't tell you how many people are upset with me, just because every now and then somebody might call me a bishop. Well, who you are? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be anything like that. I'm not trying to be anything other than somebody that's sitting at God's feet. See, some people say, well, she didn't go to seminary. I'm just trying to do what God told me to do. To go into all the world and take the gospel message to his people. But there are some people that don't like that. There are distractors, just like Jesus had. That's who killed him, the distractors. You know, we all have distractors. You maybe even on your job. Why did they promote you? They're questioning your identity and what God has done. But see, promotions don't come from the north or south, is what the word says. They come from God. They're trying to steal your identity. I remember when I started the church, and there was a great debate behind my back. She ain't no preacher. She a teacher. She ain't no preacher. She's a teacher. Well, I don't know what I am, but I know one thing. I'm sitting at his feet. So I can bring the word to you. As I get it, I'm going to give it. Might as well say he poured it in me and it's flooding out on you. And it's working. Because people's relationships with God have been made better. Because God said, draw nigh to me and I'll draw nigh to you. People are drawn nigh to God. You have become nearer and closer to God. And many of you are ready to get out there and invite your friends to come on. Because here we grow. I don't know if you heard. Here we grow. We're going to grow. That's why we're on YouTube Live now. God has made many ways for us to get the word out to our community. Whoever our community is anyone that is pierced by this message of God. You know, life is so good. It is so good. You know, even wanting notoriety. You know how you want people to know who you are. You are who you are anyway. You ain't got to try to be anybody else. It's a trick. You see somebody, I've had people come to me and they say, well, I wish I can get to T.D. Jakes. He can pray for me. I said, why are you telling me I can pray for you too now? But if you don't want that, I can save you some airfare. You may not even get to him. They'll cut the line off before you get there probably. But here is the one that didn't go to seminary, one that just had the Spirit of the Lord upon me in such a way that I felt like I had to do something. People were dying of AIDS. That was not a distraction. That was a reality. You know yourself. They didn't want to bury people that had AIDS. They put them in bags. And churches said, we ain't going to bury, I'm not going to officiate over any funerals, anybody live that life. What if we had waited? What if you all had waited till I got through seminary? How many people would have died? How many people would have been overindulging in pleasure? So sometimes it's best to just sit at Jesus' feet. I don't know if you heard me. Sometimes it's best to sit at his feet. I know I keep talking about my sister. But I went over her house one day. She's going to say, Diane, why are you doing this? Well, she has this clock. I don't know if it's every hour or just at 12 o'clock. She got it from a dear friend of hers. I'll leave it like that. And every hour, the clock starts talking. It's not saying cuckoo. It's saying, this is the day the Lord has made. Or it's saying John 3:6. Each hour, I believe, it's a new word. See, that helps her to sit at his feet. See, sometimes we just got to arm ourselves. See, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So sometimes to keep from getting distracted, maybe by 1:15 she might be feeling a little distracted. Then by 1:30 she might say, well, I need a word. Then maybe about 1:45 she's getting a little antsy. But at 2 o'clock, it's going to say, I am healed by the stripes of Jesus. That my faith has made me whole. That he sent his word and healed them all. That's how you fight against distractions. Use that word. And what I love about the Bible is so exciting. I just love this about the Bible. Because it's almost like sports. I know you're like this, Reverend Sandra. She likes sports. I get the impression because when it's a game, she's ready. And I think I could smell the stuff all the way to my house from her house. She is cooking. But in the Bible, it shows us as, how can I say it, sports people in a way. So sometimes you might be seen as a boxer. When it says, fight the good fight of faith. Because you have to fight the good fight. You're a boxer. Or you might be a wrestler. Because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. So you get distracted, you say, oh, or wrestle. Oh, I'm going to fight that. When you're going through something, you might be caring for somebody. And everybody's saying, why you keep caring for him in that way? He said, because I'm wrestling against principalities. I've got to help them make it through this. Their faith is kind of running thin. And then sometimes even fishing as a sport is mentioned in the Bible. When Jesus said, look, cast your net on the other side. And they brought up so many fish, it was like 250-something fish. Well, if there was a fishing championship going on, they would have won the prize of many fishes. It's almost like it was a sporting thing. Go into the world and be fishers of men. How many have you gotten? Say, I got 3 today. I talked to 3 people and I told them about Jesus. This is a sport of it. Sometimes we like competition, don't we? So let's start competing against ourselves. Let's go out as sportsmen, if you will, and let's go fishing for people. Or how about, it's even okay if we start wrestling. We see somebody caught up in the snare of pleasure. I don't have to get specific. Come on back. Sit here with me. Let's see what the Lord is saying to us. Because you've been distracted. Even with mountain climbing. Caleb and Joshua said, we're well able to take them. Lord, give me this mountain. You got the impression they were going to climb the mountain and take care of business. That's what you're to be doing. Get ready to climb some mountains. Get ready to get in the center ring and just start. Yes, Satan, you can't have my family. No. You cannot have my family. No. Because the blessings of the Lord maketh one rich and add no sorrow to it. Oh, Satan, you thought you had me down on the mat. Sometimes we might get sick with some things. And you don't even feel like getting up. I'll live and not die. I'll declare the goodness of the Lord while I'm yet in the land of the living. Hezekiah asked for 15 more years. Lord, give me 15 more years. You're wrestling. Go to him. So whether it's boxing, wrestling, running, and a marathon, we're running a good race. And we don't finish. We keep running. It's